One of the more colorful displays you'll ever see. This is the Coral Reef exhibit here at Atlantis Marine World in Riverhead. Welcome back to the East End here on News 12 Long Island. Next in our show, the story of an East End man who collects things, not fish or coral reef, but antique cash registers. Inside the garage of Peter Warren's, you'll see a lot of things you'd expect. A car, tools, some paint, but you'll also find some unusual things.
These are all glass key checks, original.
Cash registers, lots of them.
The National Cash Register Company was founded and started in business in 1886. Prior to that, there was no means to house money or keep in any way track of it. All the clerks and all the employees were deathly afraid of what was called the thief catcher, and was specifically being brought in to now help the owner of that store and that business keep law and order of his finances.
So Pete, this is a very unique piece, it looks like.
Yes, this is called a floor model. A Class 500 was usually used in department stores for multiple clerks. So each clerk had his own number, A, B, D, C, H, K, which matched his drawer, which matched his counters inside here. And each drawer opened to a different sounding bell, so that the owner of the store, if he were over 50, 60 feet away, he would know who was opening whose drawer and want to know why. Because it was all about keeping people honest. They made over 250 different styles and models. They made 1,650,000 approximately. Towards the end, about July of 1916, when World War I was beefing up, that ended the brass era. All the brass and metal went into the war effort.
Now these seem very ornate. Were they meant to be, or did they grew into that?
They were meant to be. To be able to afford and to buy a brass cash register was a sense of status, as well as for an owner of a store to be able to keep his business finances in line. So what makes this machine so very, very special is not only that it's burled walnut and it's over 100 years old, is the condition it's in. I mean, someone took very, very good care of this before I got it, and obviously my woodworker did a beautiful job. You have an original sign. This sign is probably worth $1,000. This very early original sign. This railing, they took the railings off very often because they couldn't put the money here, and the railings disappeared, so an original railing is probably a $300 or $400 item. These are all glass key checks, original, glass. You don't see this very, very rarely. You have all the paperwork here. This explains how the machine operates. Here's the delivery sticker. Here's the other delivery sticker that the factory put on. The dealer puts this one on. So this was machine number 1775, delivered on November 16th, 1887, built for Frank Morgan, Chicago, Illinois. There's a one-of-a-kind over there that was, it's in English pounds. But what it has in it is the only one in the world that has electric lights when the drawer opens.
What makes them valuable?
The fact that there are only so few left. The few that survived are the ones that we are blessed with today. And I've gotten them really, literally, that were found in lakes. They were just sitting up behind somebody's wood pile on a lake, and it was just rusted solid.
I know they vary greatly in price, I imagine, but just give us a rough estimate of what they go for.
Well, restored. I mean, after I've done all the work to bring them back, I'd say the cheapest one would be about $2,200, $2,300, and they go all the way up to $10,000 for that floor model that we were looking at before.
So who were buying these, Peter? I mean, regular homeowners, just for a pool table room or something? Or?
People buy them for their game rooms, for their basement bars, for their, some people just like to have, it's a piece of art, so put it on a nice oak table in your den, next to your slot machine, or maybe next to an antique bookcase.
There are 4 basic finishes on them, Peter?
Yes, you have to remember that everything is solid brass. All these casings every piece is solid brass cast. But they offered 4 finishes. Whether it was bronze, which you had a choice of, which is this pinkish reddish color here, or brass, which is this one here, is that yellow brass as we know brass to be. Then you could have nickel, which is just a plating process over either one. And sometimes customers wanted everything in nickel. And then we had copper oxidized, which was another process where they blacken in the back, the flat parts of the cabinet, and polish out the flat pieces on the edge in a copper finish.
I see scales you also have here.
Country scales, yeah, those barrel scales were found in meat markets and grocery stores, and smaller fan scales with scoops were flour and things like that, and the small candy scales were candy, spices, tobacco, things like that.
Are the safes, how old are they?
In the same time frame, all around 1900, between 1900 and 1915, all original safes that you would have seen probably painted black. And they go out to the sandblaster, get sandblasted, stripped, and we put a motif on the front like the Titanic motif or stagecoach delivery lines or Santa Fe Railroad coming around the mountain, if that's what somebody wanted. And they make great end tables and a nice piece in the den. And, you know, if you had to put your valuables in there and a thief ever came through your house, he walked right past it.
There's a lot of interesting things you can walk right past at Peter Warnes' place. You can call him at 631-298-0159. Check out his website, antiquebrasscashregisters.com, or go to news12.com. Click on Features, then East End.